Hello, and welcome to today's European SharePoint, Office 365 and Azure Community webinar. My name is Laura, and I'm delighted to be joined by Szymon Bośniak, who is a digital workspace portfolio lead at Software One in Poland, who will present the topic Viva and Teams Tough Love, how to start with Viva apps on Microsoft Teams. Remember to join in on the conversation about today's webinar and more on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @EuropeanSP and our hashtag is #ESPC23. Don't forget to check out the Resource Centre. This is updated daily with the latest blogs, ebooks, webinars and how-to videos. Simply visit sharepointeurope.com and click the Content tab at the top. Continue your learning by joining us for our next webinar from Microsoft Teams Week. The next webinar is a series of mini webinars called Teams Week Mini Webinars, which includes three mini webinar topics, such as Teams shared channels, security and compliance within Microsoft Teams, and how to integrate anything into Microsoft Teams. This webinar takes place tomorrow, Tuesday, the 21st of March, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. CET. For full details, please check out sharepointeurope.com/your guide to Microsoft Teams. The ESPC 23 call for speakers is soon closing. Be part of something truly special. Speak and engage with leading experts, IT professionals, developers, and business decision makers at ESPC 23, Europe's premier Microsoft 365 and Azure conference. This is your chance to take a leading role within the conference and the community, sharing your in-depth knowledge, passion, and experience with your peers, in turn helping empower the Microsoft 365 and Azure community to professional success. Please visit sharepointeurope.com/submit-speak-ESPC by tomorrow, March 21st, and submit your application to speak. The ESPC 23 Super Early Bird Sale is now on. Save €400 with super early bird pricing and join us in Amsterdam this year from the 27th to the 30th of November for 4 days of learning, networking and inspiration. ESPC 23 will bring together members of the Microsoft 365 and Azure community from around the world to share ideas and solutions. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals at ESPC 23 this November. Secure your super early bird tickets today and get ready for 4 incredible days of Microsoft 365 and Azure learning. Please visit sharepointeurope.com/pricing to snatch up this limited offer. The European Power Platform Conference is now available. This June, prepare yourself to deep dive into all things Power Pages, Dataverse, Power FX, Canvas apps, Fusion Teams, governance, and so much more. With a lineup of exceptional speakers and topics, curated by an independent program team, we truly believe this program will provide you with the expertise to power ahead in your career and projects. Be sure to visit sharepointeurope.com/conference schedule 2023 EPPC to find out more about the conference schedule. After the webinar, we will have a questions and answers session. Type any questions you might have into the questions window. Questions will be selected and answered at the end of the presentation. This webinar will be recorded and added to the Resource Centre, where you will be notified by email when it is available. And now I'm going to pass you over to today's webinar presenter, Szymon. Hello, Szymon.
Hello, great to meet you all. Let me share my screen. I want to welcome you in the presentation of Teams and Viva Tough Love, how to start with Viva apps in Microsoft Teams. And I want to open with one of the questions I heard from the customer when we start to talk about Viva in general. Customer asked me, do I really believe that there is really chance to make his organization to love Viva, to succeed in that kind of project? And to be fair, if you will ask a lot of companies who tried that, they will say that they failed. But realistically, these organizations did not try to implement the tools, the resources, the, let's say, programs that you can participate that I will present today that could help you to succeed with Viva and also to make your organization to love Viva in general. So First of all, who am I and why I'm talking to you? So Szymon Bochniak, I'm working as a digital workplace portfolio lead in Software One Group, when I'm helping customers in the area of working with Microsoft 365 security, my cloud-to-cloud migrations, and of course, employee experience. And I'm here because I'm working with Microsoft technologies for last 15 years. And the first employee-oriented application I was working on was built on Windows SharePoint Services 3.0. So that old I am. But at the same time, I want to share my expertise, my experience with working with Viva, especially from the succeeding in the project in the very first time in the very early stage. You can also find me on my blog, office365atwork.com, and on my YouTube channel by pasting my name, Szymon Bochniak. I know this is quite challenging, but you can also search for office365atwork.com, and same thing on the other social medias. If you want to learn more, get in touch, please feel free to find me there. And what we want to answer today is it really implementation of the Viva project that difficult? Why this project fails and what we can do to overcome it? It shouldn't be that hard. Yeah, there are multiple apps that are free. There is business value behind these applications. Microsoft help a lot to succeed with that kind of projects. At the same time, deployment of these apps are not that difficult from the technical perspective. But at the same time, a lot of projects finishing with failing or very small success or impact in the organization. In this presentation, I would like to show you that projects connected with Viva in many aspects are similar to relationships. So after the first excitement, when you see new Viva app in the neighborhood, you are fascinated how great that app is. You're starting to dig in, be more interested, finding the new information. And at the point when you're getting to the some kind of enlightenment phase, so having more structured, better understanding of this application, or this application is starting to be more difficult. You're meeting first obstacles, you're meeting challenges in the organization or technical problems, and then you can fail or you have strong difficulties in moving forward with that kind of projects. What we want to show you is to how to build the process to overcome this kind of obstacles to get to the point that you will be able to beat strong strong commitment to the Viva apps in your organization. And I will focus on the 5 key factors that could ruin your love to Microsoft Viva, could impact the way how you work and especially how you're starting to work with Viva at the very early stage. But at the same time, I will show you clear statement how to overcome these challenges, how to resolve the problems, how to work inside your team, inside your organization to make that kind of project succeed, and also to be success in the organization, to impact the employees, to impact how you work. And from perspective, and you will see that there will be a lot of materials, a lot of references I will quote in this presentation. So I want you to stop for a moment. Feel free to do any kind of screenshots, notes, and things like that, but still, Laura and I will share with you summary of most important tools, most important solutions that you can implement in your organization, free tools, free materials that you can use after the webinar. So if you are registered here, you will get the email notification with the recorded webinar, plus we will also include there all necessary materials that you can use in your organization. Don't be worried that you will be maybe at some point a little overwhelmed. What we will do is sum up all the information and also share that with you. Plus, if you have any additional questions, feel free to raise them in the webinar chat window. We will also try to address them at the last part of the presentation. The first element that you can face about challenges connected with Viva applications, and you can hear that Viva is too complex. And when you think about it, it's not that common to hear something very similar if you're talking about SharePoint in general. We have strong understanding what this application is, SharePoint, how to use it, how it could be beneficial for our company, but we have totally different perspective for Viva. And there are a few reasons behind it. SharePoint is something that we already know very well. Again, this is quite complex application if you think about it. There are lists, libraries, navigation, news, newsletter, hubs, more and more, but still because we are more and more familiar, this is quite all up. It have more than 15 years. It's much easier for us to understand its concept and build some kind of scenario how to use it. In case of Viva, it is a little different scenario. It's not one big complex application with multiple features. It's more like setup of today 9 Viva applications that have very specific features that could be interconnected, but at the same time could be separated apps. We have Viva connections that could be home starting up for your company, Viva Learning, which should be player for your training materials, Viva Engage that could support many-to-many collaboration, or Viva Topics that could help you in R&D departments to standardize the knowledge. So there's a lot. And moreover, you should expect that there will be more Viva applications. You will see during the presentation that today, 2 applications, Amplify and Pulse, will be something that will be rolled out very quickly, but they are still not offered as a package of Viva Suite. And shouldn't be worried about it, shouldn't be scared that there are so many applications and starting to be complex. I would highly recommend you to start small. Don't be surprised, don't be worried that there are 9 applications, how to build a business case, how to work with that. Select few applications that you want to start with. I would recommend selecting Viva Connections, Viva Learning, Viva Insights, and Viva Engage as your starting point for working with Viva application, and select one application. Start with that, test how the business users will work with it. Is it something that will really benefit them? What will be the feedback? What will be, let's say, commitment of the people to using it? And if this will work, evolve this application. But if this will be something that will totally be not fitting to expectations of your organization or your business users, leave it for now and move forward. Select second Viva application on your list and try to work with that. Do not start at the very early stage with big boom implementation of 9 applications at the same time. It will be too overwhelming. So simplify it, try to adapt agile approach, so small steps, getting the feedback from the business and adapting your process to that expectations or needs that you will hear. Moreover, and this is something that I will repeat multiple times during this presentation, ask Microsoft for help. At this very early stage, when you're starting to select first Viva application, it could be maybe difficult to select it, but still you can ask for help. If you have account manager assigned to your company, there will be no problem to engage Microsoft technical specialists who can join you, show you some kind of Viva presentation. What are the differences? What are the key values to give you better understanding of how this Viva works, how this application could benefit your organization. And again, remember, start with simple approach, something that could benefit users very quickly, but at the same time will not impact you heavily on deployment or setup of this app. We will share with you guidance how to do it. And right now, I will also show you some kind of example how you can proceed with the initial phase of using Viva in your organization. I highly recommend to start with something super simple, starting with Viva Connections. And Viva Connections today is an application that this is some kind of home app, starting page, landing page for your business users. Office workers, but also frontline workers. This is also very important because you can see I'm showing this app in Microsoft Teams, but if you will open in the mobile device, it will automatically adapt to that approach. So you don't have to put any additional effort to deliver smartphones to your colleagues in the organization, deploy the Viva app there, and start to use it immediately. This is something that is by design available. And that kind of Viva connection app, how it could help you, first of all, you don't have to build something super complex. Start with something that will bring people to using that app as a starting point. So deliver the most important news around the company. Get rid of email notification, publish the news around SharePoint, and just implement them as a very simple summary for your business users. Navigate, this is just the button that navigates users to the key applications across your company. And imagine how many bookmarks do you have in your browser? How great will be to get rid of them? How great will be to get rid of all emails when somebody is sharing with you old link to the old version of the app or to the process. If you will centralize that kind of navigation for your users in this simple application, it could really make their life easier on this very simple level. Moreover, you can deliver them navigation to other apps. It don't have to be something connected with Microsoft 365. It could be SAP, ServiceNow, Jira, anything that is used inside your organization. But imagine that this is not a rocket science. Yeah, it's a very simple solution that could help you to get rid of bookmarks and deliver one centralized place where people will be able to find the link to the application. Something very simple but very efficient to get them visit this app quite often. And moreover, you can also navigate them to the business processes. Probably you have them somehow standardized, maybe in digital way, maybe in paper way, but still having that at least documentation about it centralized in one place will be very beneficial, not only for employees that is already working, but also for new joiners who will join the new company and will find this information very quickly. Of course, you will be also able to navigate them through SharePoint. And at some point, if you will decide that this is something that's working well, so business likes it, yeah, you get the feedback, this is something that brings benefit for our organization, for our daily work, move it to the next level. So implement your communication portal based on SharePoint as an extension of this landing page. You can, again, you can see this is the something of like landing page provided by SharePoint, no coding included in here. Everything which is presented in here is deployed without single line of code. You can deliver their announcements, documents, calendar, any other information in centralized place, and also put this navigation in the one place and connect that with SharePoint. Again, treat that as a next step. So start with the simple approach of the Viva starting home app. If you will feel that it will grow, the business will like it, then invest more time, then invest more engagement on your side, and implement the next app or evolve the app that you already have. Start small and do step-by-step agile approach to, let's say, evolve that kind of solution in your organization. Moreover, if you will work with Viva, this home app will be a great place to navigate your users to the other applications. The second app I always recommend to start with, and this is something that you can put also in your order, how to plan very initial steps, is Viva Learning. And you can hear that this is great learning management system. It's not, but it's really great player for your training materials that you hosted in your organization. It is simpler than learning management system, but if you will have training materials, presentation, videos, any kind of Word documents, you can really well structure them using Viva Learning and deliver that to your users. And what is most important, deliver that to mobile device. I heard a lot complaining about any kind of SAP-based knowledge management systems that there's no chance to put them on the mobile device. And ask yourself how you consume content right now, how your colleagues, how your business users consume content across the organization. Having the possibility to deliver that to the mobile device today is must-have. Thankfully, Viva offers that as a, let's say, by design setup for every application. So if you were thinking about how to start with Microsoft Viva, start with these four applications. So Viva Connections, Viva Learning, Viva Insights, and Viva Engage, and try to build very simple solution, test it with the business users, and see if this is something that works very well, evolve. If not, move forward to the next app, or split the approach to different kind. And again, always do not hesitate if you have relationship with Microsoft, ask for help. The second element that you can also meet as a challenge is Viva is too expensive. And once when I was talking with the procurement manager on one of the customers, I heard, guys, Viva looks promising. Yeah, it's very interesting, but last year we bought supply chain management system, which allows us to save 100,000 euros per month. And how Viva is comparable to that? And that question made me think how we want to win our C-level management organization, because Viva it's not ERP system. It's not the system that will change in one day income or revenue of your organization. But at the same time, you need to address somehow the impact that this application will bring to your organization. And again, what to do if your budget will be limited, if your subscriptions, if the company you're working with, there will be difficulties to get the budget for the premium subscription, or how to calculate return on investments from the perspective of Viva. And what you need to remember, there are two versions of Viva apps. There is free version of Viva applications and premium versions of the apps. I mentioned in the previous step that you should start with Viva Connections, Viva Learning, Viva Insights, and Viva Engage. And all of these four applications are available in the free versions, which you don't have to buy at all. So licenses for these products are included in your Office 365, in your Microsoft 365 subscriptions. Moreover, also for the frontline workers. So if you will own very cheap F1 Office Microsoft 365 license, all these applications from Viva Suites will be also covered there. Start simple. Start with free version, test if this approach will work, and then try to evolve. Again, premium features are great in Viva, but still, if you're starting from the very beginning, start small, start from free version, test it, and then try to evolve to the premium one. Moreover, if you want to build the premium based solution based on Viva apps, start with some kind of MVP. So select one team of users, one department that you will work with, build strong business case, show the impact, show the value that this kind of solution could bring, and also not in one step. Implement the solution, gather the feedback from the business, adapt, and second iteration. And bring that business case to the management. It will be much easier to talk about possible budget if you show on the smaller group, like 10 licenses for one team, how this could really impact the way how you work. And moreover, remember, you can differ the access for your Office 365 from perspective of Viva. Some users can have premium licenses, some can have free version of the licenses. It works exactly the same when you compare Office 365 E1 without Office Suite to your PC and Office 365 E3 with this suite available. So you can differ how people will have, which version of the subscription people will have, and also try to do this exercise to calculate the ROI for Viva. And I mentioned Viva is not ERP system. It's not like you will bring the Excel and you will calculate that $3 million will be saved in 1 month after deployment of Viva. But at the same time, there are KPIs that shows that your deployment of Viva in the organization could bring savings. In the summary of the materials that I will share with you with Lola later on, we will include Forrester reports that show these KPIs. clearly present how you can calculate ROI for the Viva deployment. And one of the best KPIs I would like to recommend, you can limit the number of people that will leave the organization. Based on the, let's say, research done by that company, it is possible to reduce number of people leaving the organization for 10% in 1 year after you will deploy of Viva, and 20% after 3 years. This could be really easy to calculate if you will multiply number of that kind of people, that kind of colleagues in your organization, and possible costs of hiring that kind of new employees to that place. Remember, talk with HR about these numbers, and having that kind of calculation could really make your case much better. We will share with you this report. It covers very detailed information about how to calculate that kind of ROI, and this one KPI is really something that is easy to calculate and really could show the value for the C-level management. And one more thing which you should take consideration, Viva suite versus one premium licenses. So you can buy one premium license for $4, or you can buy the whole Viva suite for $9. If you will go for premium, consider using suite. It will be cheaper. It will be cheaper if you will deploy more apps, especially if you're planning to deploy more premium apps. And the last thing that almost none of the companies try, if you're going for premium versions of Viva, if you will have the business case, if you will have C-level interested in that, ask Microsoft for discount. It sounds silly, but it works. Microsoft putting a lot of effort to show the value of Microsoft Viva products in the organization. You should ask them if some kind of discount is available from the perspective of the licensing. And just few words how the licensing works. Remember, you have two versions of the Viva products, Viva Free and Viva Premium. In case of Viva Free, you have Viva Connections, Viva Engage, Viva Learning, and basic version of the Viva Insights. In case of Viva Suite, so premium version of the licenses, you will also have their extended functionalities for all of these apps, topics, goals. Sales is additional app, plus you should expect that Pulse and Amplify will be also soon added to this scope. And you should also expect that this price could go higher. So there is really good chance that Microsoft will increase this pricing, mostly because of the new apps that will be also included as a part of the Viva suite. So don't be surprised, and also try to optimize this aspect of costs. It always helps to build the good business case based on that kind of approach. But again, start small, start simple. If you are not sure, if your management is not sure, start with free version of these apps. And these four apps that have free seeded version of the licenses, and see, build a business case, strong business case, and then it will be much easier to talk about using Viva in your organization in the premium version. This is also possible that sometimes you can hear or you can feel that deployment of Viva could be too challenging, could be too difficult. You are not IT expert, maybe you are from HR or management, and in your hands you don't want to do the deployment because you don't want to mess with IT. And partially it's true, but at the same time, you need to remember that deployment of the Viva apps in your organization will be not that difficult. You will not have any custom coding needed. PowerShell will not have to be used. Anything you will need to do is go to the configuration panels and do the step-by-step deployment from the perspective of Viva applications in general. And the one thing which I want to highly recommend here is something called Advanced Deployment Guide, something that probably you are not aware of, but something that is present in your Microsoft 365 environment already. and ready to use. So if you will go to Microsoft 365 Admin Center of your organization, you will find that kind of dashboard and two elements that will be important for you, maybe three if you are also interested in frontline workers. Advanced deployment guides. These are step-by-step guidance, how to set up Viva, how to manage the communication around the project, how to configure the apps, how to deploy and show the value. I will show that in a moment. Plus also you have centralized configuration of the Microsoft Viva in here, how to manage the license, manage the roles, and the configuration of the specific Viva app in one place. So this is not that difficult to do. And you should be aware that that kind of setup is present. Advanced deployment guides, this is the place where you can go through the configuration of multiple features, but one advanced deployment guide is very important. So employee experience in the Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Viva. You will find here, maybe it's not the Microsoft project for that kind of, let's say, engagements in your organization, but at the same time, you can go through step-by-step process how to deploy Viva. You will find the instruction how to do every step in here. You can ask your colleagues to help. You can plan the timeline to that kind of deployment. So if you never did that, you can use that kind of guidance to manage that process and help you to control that in better way. And moreover, you will also find the recommendation that are not strictly that technical. So not only focus on the area if you will deploy the app for Microsoft Teams or not, but also how to manage the communication with your management, with your business users, how to use Viva Engage, Yammer, SharePoint to do that. And this is also something very important. I will talk more about it during the presentation, that engaging business users, engaging people to work on that will be something that will have strong impact to the success of your engagement around Viva. So use advanced deployment guides. This is something available for free immediately in your Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and you can use that if you just log in there. You can also use free guidance about setting up Viva apps. We will also share with you step-by-step guidance how to configure Viva connections, how to configure Viva learning in free versions for your company. You will see it is a matter of few hours to do that kind of setup. You don't have to be IT expert to do that. Just work with these applications. Guidance are here. There's a lot of materials that you can use. You can also ask partner or Microsoft for help. And in case of Microsoft, something that I would like to heavily highlight, that advanced deployment guides are provided by Microsoft Fast Track. And if you will go there for a moment, on the top right corner, you will see something called Fast Track Assistance. You can ask Microsoft Fast Track to assist you in deployment of the Viva applications. If we're talking about free version of this app, you will need at least 150 subscriptions on SharePoint, Exchange, and Yammer. So you can imagine it's not that big number. Most of the organization will fit in, and this assistance, so they will not configure Viva in behalf of you, but they will help you to go through the process. Share the best practice recommendation, help you to resolve challenges, help you to make decisions. And this kind of assistance is available for free. It is something included in your subscription costs. You don't have to pay any additional money to use that. I highly recommend you, if you have more than 150 subscription, I highly recommend you to ask Microsoft Fast Track for that kind of help. It could really help you to do that the best approach, to do that with the best practices recommended by Microsoft. Hearing that kind of statement is the worst case for most organizations. If nobody will care about Viva, probably you will not be able to succeed based on that kind of project. Probably you will also not get the approval from the C-level management to execute that kind of project. Your business needs to be engaged. This is my observation from similar project. Business is must-have. Stakeholders, or at least one stakeholder that will deliver the blessing for your project, is must-have for your project. Having C-level manager helping you in pushing that kind of project in your organization will be something super important. And that's why, if you will sum up everything we talked till this point, creating strong business case will help you to get that kind of person to be on your side during the deployment of the Viva. Having ROI calculated, having the business telling that really this is something that help in our daily work, showing that we cut the costs to the bone. Sometimes it is must have, yeah. We use Microsoft to help us. Really shows that you have the strategy how to build that kind of application in your organization in a very efficient way. And having that business case will help you to engage C-level management, will also help you to evangelize business users, showing that kind of value. And having business and management on your side, based on my observations, is must-have to do it, to succeed with deployment of the Viva in your organization. Prepare also something I'm calling accelerators. So business cases that will bring your business users to use Viva. It could be navigation to the apps. It could be different case that will bring everyone every day or very often to use this app. Sometimes you will see it could be a little silly. I will give you the example from one company which have a lot of factories, and we are discussing how we can convince these people to visit Viva connections everywhere. They are not interested that much about other systems in the company. So how we want to engage them to just visit Viva every day and do something with that. So what they did every day, every person, every manager in every factory, they booking the lunch in the cafeteria. And this is the process that will not make revenue higher in your company, but it will bring building small app that allows them to order the lunch to cafeteria, maybe just to see the menu for today in cafeteria, will bring these people to open their phones, click once, check that, and maybe multiple times they will just check the menu, but after some time they will go to news. They will check the documents. Maybe they will start to share the information with each other. But this first step probably is we need to trick them somehow, deliver some kind of simple value to move them to using these applications in mobile or in the desktop experience. And I highly recommend to think about that kind of accelerators, because this is something that really impact the engagement on the business side in using that kind of apps. Another element that could help you a lot is something called MCI workshops. These are the workshops that are financed by Microsoft and provided by partner. You don't have to pay anything for that, but to be eligible for them, you need to have at least 1,000 subscriptions plus few other KPIs. I will share more information about that in the email, but if you will be eligible, it's also worth to ask if you have account manager or Microsoft partner working with you, ask them if you are eligible to get access to that kind of MCI workshops. These are 2 weeks of workshops when you can work with Microsoft partner who can introduce you to the Viva, introduce you to the applications, show you the value, convince your management, convince your business users, and also to help you to create that kind of accelerator scenarios for your business, for your organization. If you are not sure, not feel confident that you will be able to build that, having that kind of workshops are the best case. For the Viva, I believe you have 2 workshops that can be provided, another workshop for the frontline workers, plus something connected with the modern communication in the company. And all of this can be provided by Microsoft partner through Microsoft for free. So Microsoft financing that. Just check with Microsoft if you are eligible to do that. And also the last thing, always think about the adoption and communication. These are the elements that heavily are reduced by business users, especially sometimes by IT, that we're focusing so heavily on the technical aspects that we're forgetting about engaging the people. In this case, I will also share with you resources provided by Fast Track for free, posters, communications plans, templates of the emails that you can use in your organization to engage your business users in using Microsoft Viva. And do that, because this will be something that could really help you in succeeding. Plus, when you will think about building the business case, this is something that Microsoft prepares. So some kind of new overview of the Viva applications. And I want to ask you to go there. I will also share with you the link to that page that group the Viva applications based on the business case. This is really great approach. So if you will think about how to use Viva applications in your organization, visit that page. Visit that page to be inspired, to figure out possible priorities, and also to see how the Viva applications could address very specific business case in your company. This is really great resource. I will also share that with you. And again, as always, I'm asking you, ask how Microsoft could help. MCI workshops is something that could be heavily beneficial for your company. Try it, it could really help you on. And what will happen if you will tell, okay, we have the business case, management is super interested in Viva, we have really commitment in our organization to move forward, to start to work with Viva in more advanced, more wider approach. But we don't have budget for other things than premium licenses. We get the discount, we get the cheaper price, we are happy with that, but it's difficult to get budget for any additional work to be covered. And again, this is something that could happen because probably you will need to engage somebody or engage your internal resources to do that kind of project. And of course, I will always recommend you to do as much possible to reduce that kind of costs. If you're talking with the high-level management, having the cost connected or mapped to that kind of project will be something important for them. And use the gathered knowledge that you already have. So if you have possibility to implement something internally by your team, do that. Yeah, start with free versions, implement them, build a strong foundation, and then move forward. If there is a chance to use MCI workshops, again, financed by Microsoft, use them and convince the business, move forward with the deployment of the Viva applications, set up the basic setup that could help you to create the accelerators. Ask Fast Track for help. Yeah? Ask Fast Track about possible engagements, because sometimes we have some kind of simple assistance, but many times there are additional campaigns in Microsoft that could help you about working with the Viva application, something that is maybe not publicly available, but your account manager could assign you for that. It will not cost you anything to ask about that kind of help. Maybe there will be some kind of additional program that will be possible to participate in. The last thing which I want to heavily paste here. If your organization will decide to move forward with Viva Premium, ask Microsoft for help in the perspective of ESIF financing. Microsoft could take over some costs around deployment of the Viva, working with the business, adoptions, and engage partners that will deliver that. From my perspective, Microsoft see how difficult sometimes deployment of Viva could be, and doing a lot of efforts to make it possible for the organizations that have strategy to use Viva. Again, mostly it will be covering Viva Premium, but still it's worth always ask if this is possible. From my perspective, in last 2 years, I would say 90% of the projects when Viva Premium is deployed was co-financed by Microsoft. So you can imagine if your organization will make the decision to go big, to go with Viva Premium, Microsoft also could help you not only to discount the price, to deliver the workshops, but also to finance the deployment project. And you know already, because you are on these workshops, that kind of projects could be challenging. Microsoft also knows that. That's why helping a lot to make that kind of projects successful in the organization. And if we will go to the point that we want to sum up the process, the challenge that we have around the Viva, it could be too complex, too expensive, it could be too difficult to deploy. Nobody in the organization could care less about Viva. And if we make any decision, it could be difficult to get the budgets. These are the obstacles you will find if you will get to the enlightenment phase with Microsoft Viva. And it could be the elements that could stop you there. That's why I highly recommend you to, before you will get there, build a plan, build a strategy, how you want to start with Microsoft Viva in your organization. Start small, select one, probably the free version Viva app. Build the case based on that. Use deployment guides to deploy that kind of application by yourself or by your IT team. It's not rocket science to do that. Assume that kind of application will be deployed. You can work with business, engage business users, build the business case, calculate the ROI for your C-level management to show the value behind this application, and then ask your Microsoft partner if you are eligible for any additional workshops, any financing, any possible programs that you can participate with. Microsoft will do a lot of effort on their side to help you in that, but the only thing you need to do is to ask them to engage and to bring some kind of additional financing that could make your project better, easier, faster, and more efficient in your way. And again, probably it will be not super simple, but still, if you will get to the point that you're planning the Viva, you already know the Viva, probably not best, but still you get the better understanding of the Viva. You build the plan, you build the strategy. It will be much easier to succeed in that kind of project if you will use that tools, these accelerators in your organization. And I always want to wish you to build that kind of strong, mature, committed relationship with Viva, yeah? To build this love experience, or maybe at least like experience in your business side around Viva application by providing them really great value that makes their life easier. And finally, I wish you to succeed in that kind of projects and executions on how to do that proper way with your IT, with your management, with your business users. The tools, and the last thing on my list, remember to check the email. We will share with you all of that, sum up all the materials that you can use, reports, calculators, materials from Fast Track, possibilities of the Microsoft Finance programs that could help you to make that project successful in your organization. There's not that much to do on your side. To ask about it, do it. Probably it will help you a lot to move forward from perspective of the Viva apps. So we cover all these obstacles, all these challenges that you can face. We get also to the Q&A page. So if you have any questions, any challenges you want to ask, feel free to do it.
Thank you, Szymon, for a great presentation and for a great hour of learning how to get started with Teams and Viva apps. So we'll get into the questions and answers part now. So should you wish to ask a question, please feel free to do so in the questions window now. So our first question today, someone is asking, Viva sales, can you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, Viva Sales today is a totally separated product from perspective of the Viva suite. It is something dedicated for the Dynamics 365. And if you will go to pricing of the Viva in general, you will see that whole Viva suite costs right now $9, but Viva Sales costs $40 per user. It's quite a lot. But at the same time, it is the tools that will help you to improve the sales process around Microsoft 365 and Dynamics 365. You can see it right in here. And moreover, if you did heard last week, Microsoft announced introduction of the Copilot to the part of the Microsoft 365. This is more or less using ChatGPT functionalities to help to make your life easier. And you will see if you will go to the features, one of the elements that will be here is possibility also to use AI in the speeding up the process around pre-sales, around sales activities. So you can tell, yeah, this is quite expensive license, but this is dedicated for the sales activities. So if you will have team that using Dynamics 365 because or Salesforce, because these two tools are probably the most using here, you can extend their capabilities using Viva Sales to make their life easier. And imagine how it will help your organization if you will speed up massive mailing to the customers, to summary of the meetings, to summary of the conversations, to the agreement. These are the features that will be here very soon. And there's already a lot of elements that help around using productivity in case of improving the sales process in your company. So this application is a little different when you compare it with the other ones, but build strong business case if you want to consider using Viva Sales, because it's quite expensive, but at the same time, it's bringing great value for the salespeople.
Brilliant. Thank you, Szymon. Then another question someone is asking, is Viva limited to people within the same network?
No, but you need to be using the same tenant, Microsoft 365 tenant. So if you want to use your capabilities, so Viva Connections, Viva Engage, you can collaborate only with the people in your organization. There are some possibilities to extend that, but only partially. Plus, it will depend on your administrators if they will allow you to visit these functionalities outside of your local network through internet. By design, Office 365 is available through internet, but at the same time, based on any security concerns, your admin team in the IT department could cut off access to VPN or any other approach, then it will be limited. By design, you can collaborate with everyone in your Microsoft 365 tenant in your organization.
Great. Thanks again for answering that question. Then just another question. Someone is asking, can SCORM files be added to Viva Learning?
No, they cannot. That's why I mentioned that today it's not yet learning management system. And maybe at the very beginning where this product appeared on the market, it was positioned as a learning management system, but it doesn't support SCORM. So you can already imagine it's more like a player for the materials without rates, without any kind of process, without, let's say, quizzes and possibility to reject, pass or fail some kind of exam. So if you have any kind of, let's say, onboarding trainings or safety training that somebody have to go through and pass some kind of exam after it, at this moment, Viva Learning have no that kind of functionality. So treat that more like player, video player or training player for your materials, but it doesn't cover any kind of really process behind it at the moment. Probably it will be evolving, but today, if you will ask me, it's not that kind of complex solution yet.
Brilliant. Thanks, Szymon. And our last question then in here, someone is asking, I want to sign up for Fast Track for Viva with our Microsoft partner. Internally, our IT department are hesitant as they are not sure if Fast Track will put onus on them to do things that they maybe don't have resources to do at the moment. What should I do?
Correct. So Microsoft Fast Track will not do anything in your behalf in your Microsoft 365 tenant. You will need to have some resources on your side that will work together with Fast Track to do the configuration or setup of the Viva applications in your environment. So that's true. You will need to have somebody to work with Fast Track. Again, you don't have to do it immediately. It's better to, let's say, plan some kind of availability of any technical resources that could collaborate with Fast Track to do the setup. At the second, but on the second side, configuration of the Viva apps is not that time consuming. I would expect that, I don't know, 2-3 days of work with Fast Track in total, at probably no full time, just few hours, will be totally enough to make Viva connections work. And or Viva Learning, maybe Viva Learning is a little longer, probably like 8 hours on tops to configure it. But other applications like Viva Engage, it's also a matter of few hours to make that configuration available on your Microsoft 365 tenant. At the same time, if you need to have somebody on your side, so try to optimize the time needed, book somebody through your IT team or your resources, and then meet Fast Track. Probably it is the best time to maybe postpone it till the moment that these people will be available.
Brilliant. Thank you, Szymon, for answering those questions. So that is all the questions that we have today. So on behalf of the ESPC community, we would like to extend a huge thank you again to you, Szymon, for taking the time today to carry out this webinar. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Likewise, from perspective of having great time with you guys.
Brilliant. So that is the end of today's webinar. You can find this webinar and more at sharepointeurope.com/resource center. That is it for today, folks. Thanks again to all of you for joining us. Take care, and we hope that you'll join us again for more learning. Bye for now.